The concepts of the anima and animus come from Carl Jung, the founder of analytical psychology. The anima and animus are part of what he named the collective unconscious, a deep layer of human experience that lives through us all and is shared through symbols and archetypes. The anima is the feminine personality that lives inside a man, whilst the animus is the masculine personality living inside a woman. However, this can be easily misunderstood if taken literally. Nowadays, they are often interpreted as complementary inner forces. Think of them as autonomous archetypal structures. Unlike what many think, they don't merely balance and challenge the conscious identity, but also challenge and attempt to destabilize the ego. An easier way to think of them is to view them as archetypal systems that mediate between the conscious ego and the unconscious mind. They're not traits one simply has. They actively shape emotion, meaning, and perception. As stated by Jung himself, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. The anima is often associated with emotion, empathy, intuition, sensitivity, creativity, and openness to the irrational or symbolic. When strongly activated, it leads to a world of aesthetics, beauty, emotion, and mystery. The anima doesn't appear to one directly. It communicates through dreams, fantasies, and projections onto real women. It leads to men idealizing a woman as perfect, even when in reality she may not be such, and may have simply evoked an emotional reaction from within. A man can view this woman as a muse, a savior, and a being that deserves longing. Jung puts it as so: every man carries within him the eternal image of woman, not the image of this or that particular woman, but a definite feminine image. The anima can also lead to men feeling deeply impacted or moved by music, art, nature, or language in ways that he doesn't fully comprehend. The anima evolves through 4 stages: Eve, which portrays basic biological or sexual attraction; Helen, which portrays romantic and aesthetic ideal; Mary, which portrays spiritual or moral idealization; and lastly, Sophia, which is a stage of wisdom, integration, and inner guidance. At the stage of Sophia, the anima becomes a mediator to the unconscious, helping a man to unlock his creative and emotional depth fully. The animus is the unconscious masculine side of a woman's psyche. It is often linked to logic and reasoning, assertiveness, structure and order, authority and willpower, analytical thinking, and direction and decision-making. Like the anima, it appears indirectly, in dreams, as male figures, in real-life conversations with men, and in opinions and convictions. However, unlike the anima, the animus also appears as a strong, internalized voice. A woman will usually experience the animus as a voice of internal direction and judgment. Think of the difference between the two as such. The anima speaking says, "She is everything to me," whilst the animus says, "This is the truth. Nothing outside of this is true. Nothing can be said to persuade me otherwise." The developmental stages of the animus are physical power, for example, athlete, strongman; action/initiative, man of action, leader; word/authority, professor, speaker, intellectual; meaning/spirit, wise guide, spiritual authority. At the highest level, the animus becomes a source of clarity, enlightenment, insight, and direction. However, there is a counterbalance to these structures. A negative anima can cause moodiness, irrational emotional swings, seduction into fantasy or escapism, and loss of grounding in reality. A negative animus can cause over-rigid, stubborn beliefs. This is the truth, all else is wrong. Intellectual arrogance and emotional detachment, especially to the maternal emotions. Even then, some are in greater trouble than this: those who are completely possessed by an anima/animus. This changes tendencies and desires to experiences and identification. One's perception of reality becomes distorted under the influence of the anima or animus, often without awareness. As Jung observed, people don't have ideas, ideas have people. On the flip side, there is an escape. The real psychological development begins when one realizes that these ideas aren't actually coming from them, but from the anima animus that possesses them. This can be exemplified as so, realizing that the perfect woman is merely a projection of the anima within, or realizing that the strong internalized voice within is merely your animus speaking, not your true thoughts. If this isn't realized, there can be no integration. Without integration, you cannot reach the totality that is the self. Without the self, one becomes trapped in repetition. The same illusions, the same emotions, the same experiences, the same conflicts.